Hi everyone, other side from the world. So today I would be talking about a bit of how we can inject automation into pen testing. This is not just limited to pen testing, but it can range from any work in the security. This is just I would like to give a hunch to everyone of how can they automate their work and be a bit lazy. So, a bit about myself. Currently, I'm working as a security engineer at a company called Mobiquity. Mostly, my work here revolves around for the things such as DevSecOps, code reviews, and automations. But I have always been into pen testing, like since 3 years. And here also, I do some pen testing, but not that much. But I always do pen testing, so that's why I'm active in bug bounties. Everyone might have heard of Synac. So currently, I'm as a Synac Red team member at level 4 there. And apart from InfoSec stuff and everything, I play a bit Apex Legends. If someone's there, you can ping me there. We can play a bit there. Okay, so to start, we could say where the bug originates, right? Where is the existence of it. So we know that most of the developers share the same mindset, uh, not the same mindset as an all in all, but even if we say in the team, they have their same mindset. They would have some standards of the code that they want to follow. How a function would be written, how it would be called, how the command should look like. Then companies enforce this that a developer should write this code in this way so that all the code without throughout the company looks same. So I see a problem here that a pattern would be repeated here and there every time, right? The next thing is everyone copies everyone else's code, right? So the hail stack overflow, right? Because of this, everyone is using same snippets of code. I've seen that many times vulnerable code has been referred to in the stack overflow with thousand of outputs, and everyone just think how many people might have copied it, right? So this leads to introduction of security vulnerabilities at different places. I mean, at places like we can't even think of. Everyone knows HTTP requires smuggling, right? So it existed in the chain of this server. Who might have thought like years before that it could be vulnerable? Okay. The next thing is that every SDLC, I won't say every SD, but almost most of the SDLCs lack security controls. Security controls are not even implemented at any stage. Mostly this is due to timing, budget, and client's requirement. Due to this stuff. But yes, there are no SAST or static analyzers or dynamic analyzer that is been executed on the code itself, so that even the low hanging fruits would get sorted out in the starting. This is, I would say, mostly habit that is mostly people have been. Also, the main constraint, I would say, that not even the habit is the budget, because everything is depends on in how much the client wants the project to be ready. And yes, due to this only there is no budget. But after breach, everything goes into security. Like even the CEO's salary would go into uh, implementing security for the project, because it's one breach and now it need to be secure. There is no this slide says that there is no shift left version in most of the companies because of these constraints. Okay, so this was where our issues were originated. Now, let's say due to some reason or to contract or to anything, you have been given a pen test task, right? So, in the starting, we all knows that reconnaissance of the scope starts. That what lies in our scope, how many servers are there, what applications are there, on what tech stack it is running, as well as what are the different chains of servers, such as reverse proxy and I would say reverse proxy or any chain of the server that can be in between it, right? So, for example, we would be first listing out the subdomains, doing a port scan of the server if let's say it's a network pen test, or even checking service out of the ports, that what services are we offered. Is there any FTP or SSH or even any of the service that is open to us, and can be exploited. So from that phase our work starts, right? Everyone might be knowing that once you see some of the things such as let's say a banner where Cisco ASA is referred, or let's say when you're doing an Android pen testing or even iOS, whenever you see the keyword Firebase, you would start finding the URL of the Firebase, right? Or even let's say you see some services such as FTP, you'll be checking that is anonymous FTP. I mean, anonymous FTP service is enabled on where you can just log in as anonymous user and access the file. So these checks are like that much intuitive that once we see it, we will be jumping in to checking it. But what I say is that these tests are quite obvious, right? That we would be doing it once we see such triggers, right? Second, it's a bit time consuming, not taking hours, but even minutes, because uh, we have done it every time, we would be knowing where we would be doing, so it's pointless to do, right? And the main thing that we would be focusing on is that this task could easily be automated, right? You don't need to do it every time. So where's the hurdle? I mean, if such tests are so much obvious and could be automated, why not everyone using it, right? So yes, so there is then this mindset of using an automation from frameworks, that people will be saying that let's get up some automation framework that is already in the market. I'm not saying that all the frameworks are less efficient. Some of them are quite great, right? But still, the thing is that people don't like coding many times, especially the pen tester. I have met many people who think that coding is boring and let's just keep up with the manual searching stuff. But yeah, that's the thing. And the three things that I would like to hide here for about the automation framework, that first, they lack contextual awareness, right? They are not aware that what application, on which application it is been tested. The second thing is they are not tailor made, right? It's not according to your requirement. The developer of that framework would be using generic word list, right? Generic test as well as generic list of ports or anything that would be used in assessing those application. And it's not different as per application, it's all static same, right? So this leads to like more noise. Client would be complaining that a huge amount of traffic is being generated from your side, right? Many high number of false positives would be given. uh, Everyone knows that, right? Using Nikto or any such scanner, you would see many false positives, but and less number of I would say true positive vulnerabilities, right? And I would say it's quite less efficient, right? Due to this reasons. Okay, so the light bulb moment, right? So let's say what we can do to avoid such stuff, right? So let's say what if we are able to like automate such tasks such as of recon, such as of basic checks of vulnerabilities, and such all could be automated, right? Yes, many of us would think that a 5-minute task might take hours to code, like debugging the code where the error is happening, or predicting the output so that a tool or even it is human readable. Such stuff could take hours to code, right? But the thing is that it would collectively be beneficial for us in the long run, in the money aspect as well as the time aspect, right? We won't be using that much time and that much benefit. And let's say if a company is maintaining a repo where all such automation scripts are stored, right, and any of the pen tester could just access it, so he would be yeah, so that would be quite good. So I would say that I would differentiate this approach into two tasks. One is the tech stack base, and second is the small list. The first one would be like preparing a set of tests which is like technology agnostic. It would be only targeting to that technology, and you can use it whenever you in the next pen test you find it, right? But it's quite hard, right, to write such test case for the initial for one technology at an initial level. So that's where the second thing comes up. Like you can write small scripts, and which could pass information, could do some test cases, or even it can provide output which is can be fit into another tool. So what you can do is that you can write such scripts, then club them together according to their usage, and you have your technology based automation framework, right? It doesn't needs to be like a single single button turning on and killing them all, but it could be a set of scripts, right? We'll be going into examples as well as some of the ideas, but I would be giving a bit theory up till now. So let's jump on to examples, right? So basically, let's say that there is a task where subdomains need to be found, right? uh, this bash, it's a basically a bash command which could be a little bit seen like a spider web, but believe me, it is not. Basically what I'm doing here, that from three resources such as cert spotter, cert.sh, and dns buffer over, I'm getting domain data from that, fetching it, parsing it, as well as putting into a file called dot domains, right? And yes, we have a list of domains just by using this command. I can use it as my bash alias, or even I can put it in another bash script which can do my work, right? It is just I would say when you want minimum number of domains from this, you can use this one, right? This is the second step, which when I have a minimum list of subdomains, and I want subdomains, so the all other running a recursive scan, right? So we can use this script. It's actually a very simple script, even though it can be a bit long. So basically what I'm doing here is that I'm using sublister and taking domains out of it. I'm again running the DNS buffer over for each and every single domain. I'm also using the EMAS enum data, which is passive. I'm not doing any intrusive scan currently, just using the passive data. Then I'm fetching from cert.sh or spotter, as well as cert.sh again, from the subdomains to extract the subdomains domains, right? And at the finally, I'm just sorting out each and every data, and pushing it into a unique, or let's say domain name dash unique.txt. This look would go all on up till until the lines of domains has been exhausted, right? And it finally would give you a clean output, where you have all the scope that you need, and then finally you can move on with your test. Okay, the next thing. Okay, so this was like a cool experience of one of the pen tests. It was actually a e-commerce application which I was testing, and what happened was that there had a claim discount button, right? So whenever I clicks it, I get a discount button, and the button would be like disabled forever. But the thing was that developer was only disabling not on the front end side, but not on the back end side. So I told him that this is a bug for for rate limiting. I can get as many as discount coupon as I want, and still I won't be stopped by the code itself. So basically, what he do? Uh, Sorry, I'm on the. Sorry, it's lagging a bit from my side. Okay, yes, this one. Yes. So what he did, that he implemented a CSRF token to remediate this vulnerability. I found it to be a bit bizarre, but I think it worked. What he was doing, that he was getting CSRF token from previous token, embedding that into the next request, and it was going on. But the thing here is that I'm still uh, okay. There is one question that I'm seeing, that about a Git repo. Just as Uh, to be on yes, to be honest, I have never maintained a Git repo, but the code that I would be sharing here, I could share them in my Git repo, and could give it with these slides so that everyone can access it. I have like many small scripts which everyone can use. So yes, there is nothing such as private. It is for public use only. Yes. So on this vulnerability itself. So yes, the CSRF token was actually like stopping the request, but only for one time. But let's say if I'm getting a new CSRF token, I can get a number of tokens, right? So what I did, that I simply called the first request, grab the CSRF token, put it into the second request, and start the loop again, right? And I was able, I know that it was vulnerable, but there should be some POC that can show me that at least I'm able to dump 15 or I would say 20 discount coupons, just to show to the developer. So I showed it to developer. Initially he thought that no, actually it's not valid, but later he fixed it with IP based rate limiting. So the gist of this example was that just by thinking a little bit outside of what we provide as a POC, I provided a bash script as a POC, and actually it worked. So the thing is that we can sometimes even automate our POCs as well, right? Okay, so now many of you will be thinking that how shall I do my own such kind of scripting or automation or such stuff? I don't have any background or anything or any knowledge in that. So see, I would suggest that pick up a language. It could be any language, right? It could be Bash, Python, or even Node.js. Just pick it up and try to get the basic context out, that how can you do some basic stuff. I would recommend to start with Bash, then moving on to Python, and then you can choose Go, Rust, or any of these such fancy languages. So in the starting, make I would say a list of checks that you would be doing every time. Many people have habit that whenever they get up at the pen test or start a bug with a bug bounty target, they will start directly brute forcing a target. So do it. Just like make a bash release or make a script which does this, right? So the thing is that give a thought of how this test could be automated immediately, right? Just I would say implement it, even though you are not happy with your code. Just do it, even though it might be the dirtiest code, but with the time you can refine it. I can give an example that when I was learning Bash in my college days, I literally passed a SQLite file with Bash just to get out data or something out of it, because I was feeling too I was feeling too lazy for it, right? That who's gonna learn how to fetch the data? So I got it from Bash. So yes, you can do it. Basically, start dirty and then refine the code as you go. And let's say once those checks are up and running, as I told earlier, you can like combine them with one another of like, let's say for the relevant test, and you have like your own technological based framework which you can run on any of the target, right? So this is the starting point from where you can begin. I would be sharing some more ideas in the next slides as well. Okay, so let's start with some of the ideas which you can implement in your automation framework. So fuzzing scripts. Many of the people which would be in, let's say, thick client security would be knowing what a fuzzer is. But in web, it's used, but not at that much scale. So basically, what a fuzzer is a program which injects semi-random, random, or let's say a curated data into a program just to see that how a bugs happen, right? Let's say you have a list of single colon, semicolon, and double quotes and some special characters. You are injecting it in, let's say, random headers, parameters, and such stuff, just to see what error the server is throwing. Let's say if a stack trace is generating, then what it is showing. If let's say a single quote is entering, is it generating a SQLite, or let's say a SQL or MySQL or even Postgre, so this error, or what it is. So basically, what I would suggest is makes some word list out of this data. You can use some open source. You can start with some open source. I would say repositories such as Seclist, and then you can start curating your own based on that. What you can do is take those word lists, select those parameters which you want, or parameters or header that you want to first, and proxy all your traffic to the pub. I think you do it quite simply, like basically from tools such as ffuf, or let's say even if with the call you just need to proxy it to your pub, and then you can start manually scanning that what the logs are from the scans, right? What all the response has been gotten from the server. So this is the first basic idea that I would like to give about the fuzzing scripts. You can make such scripts where you can just need to input the request, and you would have a whole log of perp where which you can like go through, or for some like esoteric vulnerabilities. It could be anything, right? Depends on the implementation itself. The only thing that I would like to add here is just don't spam the target with heavy traffic. Sometimes we try to use a tool that is extreme faster, but it can like take down the server. I have seen that even many times people use ffuf so much, I mean without any configuration, that it took down the whole server itself, not allowing the legitimate user to access it. In such case, people can land into the problem. So yes, configure your tools for speed, right? The second thing is to use historical data, right? What I mean by historical data, and everyone knows, right, that what wayback url is. It's actually a tool that fetches past urls from I think webarchive.org, yes. And also the same is like alien world, and there is a go based tool which is written to fetch all of these urls. What you can do simply grab those urls, right? See that where if there has any get parameters or not, and which could be like integrating like interacting with the backend database. There is a cool tool called gf or go, or it is basically a grab based tool, right? Yes, you can basically take this, yes, the database, and now yes, what I was on that, yes, you can take this data, pass the url or query parameters, and you can feed it to sql map, like configure it to the lowest setting so that you can have a detection. And I would suggest to attach proxy like Burp for this. And what you can do is that sql map would be testing for sql injection, and you just need to confine it up to the detection phase only. And let's say the detection confirms that there is a sequel here, you can like go with manual exploitation. So you can just think that how much effort your was saved for finding the sequel. It's totally automatic process. I won't say it will find 99% of the sequel, but there is a chance that at least if it is a well-known target, then at least one sequel would be found. The same ideology could be implemented for accesses itself. There are many tools such as HAHWL. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's a really and good automated tool to to find accesses. You can like give it URLs. It will just randomly enter payload there, and yes, you can see again in the purview itself, right? Because there is no way the tools itself could exploit it as well as give you the verification. I would say limit your such kind of ideas to detection only, and exploitation could be done manually. Okay. Uh, this is the last idea of mine which I'm going to talk about is, let's say I would say that many of the numerous leads or I would say elite people of information security have made such good tools that is available for us. Let's say Ferox Buster, FFUF, GCOW, Nuclei, and whatnot. I mean, the list is quite exhaustive. You can like search on let's say secret finder, link finder. You can find tool related to it. So what I would suggest is, according to your methodology, just grab those tools and chain them together, right? It could be used for anything. For example, what I have done is that you can grab a list of domains, yeah, right? You can request gau to I mean all the list of domains could be inputted, could be used as input for gau tool. The output of the gau tool, which would be a list of urls, could be like given to a grep command, where each and every url is piped into this grep function where I am just fetching js files only. And this js files could be given input into the truffle hog. Actually, truffle hog is a tool which fetches secrets from the js file itself. So yes, you have like made an automation to find secrets from the JavaScript. Same can be used to find extract links in, or I would say APIs from the JS file itself, which are not been called. So this is your automation. It's quite simple, right? You can just tool. You can actually, you are just basing your automation on someone else's work, and your works is also reduced, as well as the other person would also be happy that his tool is being used industry wide. Okay, so this was the last idea of mine. Okay, just a second. Okay, a bit of the warning before we exit or complete our talk. The first thing is the automation is here just to help you a bit. It's like additional hand that you can use in your pen test. Don't rely on it 100%, right? That I would use such automation and my work would get done. Nothing can replace manual testing ever. Even if AI takes over from the all over the world and could control our brain, it won't be able to pen test because humans still would be coding it, right? The second thing is that over reliance on such frameworks could result into a high number of false positives, and could result into the missing of critical vulnerabilities. So I would suggest go with the manual pen test, uh, get some experience, and with some experience you would be knowing what tests to do, and you can input your knowledge to make such automations, right? So I have completed my talk here. Any of the questions that anyone want to ask? Okay, I will be taking it from the chat itself. Yes, so the first question that I answered was that yes, I have some of the scripts which I would be giving out in my GitHub repo, which I would be sharing on the slide itself. So no parts of worry, you can grab that code and use it for your own purpose. The second is there any repos of fuzzing scripts to use with Burp or OSF? Uh, I'm not aware of such scripts already that has been made. My point in the slides was that you can basically make some bash script, right, which makes such request, and it is proxying through Burp. You don't need any scripts for burp itself. You are just using the burp as your proxy. uh, let's say as your browser is proxying data into the burp, same as the curl would be proxying your data through the burp. So your burp would be the logs where you can see that what request was initiated and what response were given. So in that way, uh, I don't any other questions than this? Okay, and apart from that, if anyone have any question regarding to this talk or wants to talk with me or do anything, you can just reach out at my Twitter handle that is mentioned here, and I would be happy to help. Okay, anyone would like to ask? I think no. So thanks everyone for giving out the time, and really appreciate this opportunity.